Hi everyone, Dr. Eve here. Hope all is well. So good to be among the lands of the living. Welcome to my channel where we talk about all things sustainable living, well being, and how to create strong home economies from the soil up. All right. I know y'all missed me. I have been with the grandbabies for the last couple of days. And yesterday, more specifically, though, I rested all day. For some reason, I wasn't, feeling myself. And so I knew I needed to take some time. You know, I created this life for myself because I realized that there is something missing from the lives of many, and that is rest. And the world is moving so fast, suggesting that we must be available to people all the time. And that could not be further from the truth. On yesterday, I took to my rest and I got my crochet needle and some beautiful yarn that I have because I keep stuff on hand so that I can stop, stop and attend to me, right? And so I crocheted so many beautiful things. I made a table topper. I wanted to see just how many things I could make in my creative rest, right? Because it was creative rest because I always am doing things also to attend to my mind because my brain be just on 1,000. And I know that there are many of us who struggle with that, like that whole attention deficit, staying still, attending to oneself, doing one thing at a time. And I know I'm not the only one who has an issue. I see it in humans all the time. So I took my crochet needle and I said, well, let me see how many things I can make. And I made a beautiful table topper. I made a coaster. Then I also made a candle cover. I made a telephone. I made a bookmark. Hey, Almarite. Oh, thank you so much. It's pineappling today. And then the final thing that I made of the night was my phone case. Hello. Hello, right back at you all. So good to see you all. We were really talking about the importance of beyond rest, beyond rest, and why it is so vital that we get it because when we don't, the world just takes pieces of us every single day, and we give people all this access to us every single day. And it wasn't designed to be. I don't remember it being like that when I was younger. I'm in my 60s and I don't remember. I remember spending time doing creative things. We were not in front of televisions. We were not in front of computers. Of course, the Atari came out I think it was the Atari that came out in the 70s or 80s. I'm not sure. You can tell me if it did because I think it was it Atari or we just wasn't doing all that stuff. We had pencils and crayons and paints, and we did hopscotch and we did jacks and things. We were engaged with our friends and we weren't stuck in houses and in front of computers and you know our communication was the dinner bell at a certain time. You're not gonna get much if you hack my phone. But it's wild because there is there's so much good, like people like this. People like this who come on your live. This is their life. The things they do are, they don't have time for real mindfulness. They don't have time for to use their intellectual ability beyond um, craziness. Craziness, right? Um, yeah, it's so important to spend your time with your family. And like even this morning, I have my grandchildren. Like I said, I've got three of them this week, and they are young. Six, up 2 6-year olds and a 4-year old, and they require a lot of energy and time, but they also require an example of us. We have to be the example before them, and so um, I've created this beautiful estate lifestyle where I find peace every day, and it's important for me to show them. So this morning began with, you know, adult teeth brushing and picking blackberries, right? And it's a privilege. It's really a privilege, because at one time it was problematic for some. Some think it problematic, but um, picking blackberries on your own estate is a privilege. And I count it on joy and love the fact that I can bring my grandchildren into the space with me to see what it's like to grow their own food. I have one who loves nasturtium. His thing this morning was picking nasturtium because he has to have nasturtium every day. No, I don't see you. So he has to have nasturtium every day, and he picks his own. So I said, well, wait a minute, baby. Well, what if we plant a nasturtium for you to take home with you since you love it so good? Because he goes to, like I said, a Montessori school where he is learning about, foods and eating the foods that they grow, and I'm excited that he's learning all these things. And so it's really exciting having them here on the estate where I'm growing so much food. Okay, God bless you and have an amazing day. And make sure that you get some good rest because we have forfeited too much of our lives to the world and we're not getting enough rest. And the Bible absolutely emphasizes the importance of rest, both physically and spiritually. When we think about God's example in Genesis 2:2-3, he taught God rested from his work of creation on the seventh day. God bless you too. And this sets an example for humans to also incorporate rest into their lives. He also gives a commandment, Sabbath commandment in Exodus 28-10, where God instructs the Israelites to keep the Sabbath day holy, setting aside one day each week for rest and not engaging in work. He also goes on many scriptures to talk about be still and know that I am God. This verse encourages people to find rest and peace in God's presence, in his presence. But how can we be in his presence if we aren't still enough to be in his presence? Okay, cool beings. And over in Psalms 46 and 10, he says, "Be still and know that I am God." And this encourages people to find rest and peace in God's presence, right? So anytime we want to solidify what we're thinking and what we're feeling, we can find it in our Savior's in the Word. In Hebrews 4 9 through 11, this passage speaks of a Sabbath rest that remains for the people of God, emphasizing the ongoing spiritual rest that believers can find in Christ. Are you reading the Bible right now? Then take these scriptures, just jot them down so that you can refer back to them, because the purpose for my videos is to touch one life and touch millions. And if God sends me one person who can benefit from what I am sharing, then I want them to, take this word and use it for themselves to, refer back to. Then they said, rest as a gift. Rest as a gift from God. Psalm 127, 2 through 3. This verse acknowledges that God grants sleep to those he loves and that children are a gift from the Lord. There's so many passages that we can refer to. Proverbs 3, 21 through 24 speaks of peaceful and restful sleep that comes from trusting in God. We want to trust him with our whole hearts, right? And again, so yesterday was vital. It was vital to me, and again, the best scripture for me that fit what I did yesterday was when he said, God rested from his work, because y'all know I be out here on the farm, the estate, always working, and I really felt like I was a little burned out because even though this is peaceful, I love it. But we can go, 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 go too in the garden. And it can be, at 62, lifting, pulling, heavy, redesigning, stooping, talling, all the things. And that body needs rest, physical rest. So, because it can affect your spiritual mind. Talk to God about them. Amen. And that is it. It is key for us to know that he is here, always ever present. His word is always speaking to us if we would allow ourselves the time to rest. And so, in my creative rest yesterday, I made, like I said, a beautiful. I'll show y'all pictures. The cover. The cover of this video is going to be all the things that I made yesterday. It was a blessing. And my granddaughter was like, "My grandma, you just making everything." Yeah, cuz I'm a creative. I was born a creative. God bless my hands. That's what I did when I was a kid. When I would stow away, when I would stow away from the daily life of my siblings, because I had a lot of siblings. But I was a very introverted child. I had a lot of siblings, but I was very introverted. So I needed things to do away from my siblings. Because how about y'all know they be getting on your nerves? I was the oldest too, so I had a lot to do all the time. And so mm, I'm coming up off of a day of rest. I've already gone out and seen the chickens this morning. She says, Alma says, yep, if you ever have problems, talk to God about them. And that bad or are not born, they are made. Yes, they are made. I still love mine too. I still love mine too, but baby, they can be a piece of work. They can be a piece of work, and it's when you're the oldest, it's even harder because you know you have a lot of responsibility, and you know I know that I had a lot of responsibility because my parents were not together. After a while they separated, and so mama had to work, and there were lots of children. And so I had found myself, or not just found myself, but it was put on me. It was what was expected. And so as I grew as a mom, I was like, I didn't want to have that same outlook. I didn't want my children to feel, my daughter to feel that, but she still felt it a little bit. No matter what my siblings do or make me mad, but I still love them, and I am the oldest too, girly. Girl, I'm telling you. And they a piece of work. And girl, they have you going. And sometimes I needed to just get a break from them, because being the oldest girl also, you're growing too. You have adolescents, you got toddlers, and you're growing into your teenage years, and many of us know what that's like. We know what that's like. There are times when we are just tired and we just don't want to be around anyone. And but then I think about God and how he never mind that. I was in listening to the word last night, and how um what if God felt that way about us? You know, he never gets tired of us. Never. Alma says, my mom left me when I was 2, and my dad was always there for me, and I could never live without him. Wow. Well, I'm glad you had your dad, and you always had the Father God. Believe it or not, it is, God, almost noon here, and I'm just getting my coffee. And I'm pretty sure if you are someone who's on my live, you can tell I'm still a little sluggish. I'm still a little fatigued, and I'm just gonna allow my body to rest. I'm not gonna push myself. My garden is growing beautifully. Um, I'm gonna continue some mindful activities, and by mindful, I mean, like maybe sow some seeds. Something that doesn't require physical work. But just me doing something repetitive, dropping seeds in, or yeah. Same, sometimes I fake a smile even when I'm sad, so then I don't make other people sad, right? Exactly. Or just stow away. It's okay to get away. Like, I feel like I need a trip somewhere to just look at the water. And I just might do that once my grandbabies, after this week, I might just take a week. I might just take some time, just get away and drive to the beach, and just get on the top floor and just look at the water and the waves and let them pounce and read some books, that I haven't finished, like that's a good thing too, reading. Read some good books. Like I have a book that I bought that I have not finished. Alma says, I normally read or go feed the farm. I know that's right, Alma. It sounds like me. Alma, where do you live? Do you live in the U.S.? I love fishing too. I love fishing. Wow. Now, that might be a good trip, but it's a good trip, but you really should go fishing early in the morning. Like you don't want to go in the midst of the heat. You live in the country? I love that for you. I love that for you. Do you enjoy fishing? Do you catch fish? Are you good at it? It is so much fun. It is. I remember taking my boys on their first fishing trip. It was to the they had this farm here, this like what do you call it? Trout farm. It was a trout farm and golfing. What do you call like what's that? Putt golf? Yeah. And we went and we did that, and that was fun. I think I might take the kids out to the golf because I honestly am interested in golfing. So I think I might take that up as something to do physically for myself, and a skill I can learn. I think that that's something that I would like to do. So I'm really thinking about that. Get me some cute little skirts and go and golf it. Get me a girly golf club and some clubs. And my husband loves to golf, and he used to take the kids, but he got away from it. But I think that that would be a good thing to do at my age, and go out there and hang out on the golf course, and do a couple rounds. That's that sounds like something I would like to do, and I think that that's gonna be something I take up. Yep. And you said, I know, right? So I went to a trout farming, but the trout farm where I took my children, they we would have to pay for all the fish that we caught, but we was guaranteed to get some really good fish, so I didn't mind paying for them. And the kind of fishing poles that we had were those bamboo fishing poles. Not these fancy fishing poles that they have now. They was them straight bamboo fishing poles that you with a line on the end, and you throw and catch those fish. Isn't it amazing how we have commercialized so much stuff? So much stuff has been commercialized. Alma says, I love the cowgirl look in me. I love my outfits here. I know that's right. I know that's right, Alma. I know. Listen, Alma, do you have a channel? Do you have a social media, YouTube channel? I would love to follow you. Do you? I know, right? I'm going to get me a little. I think I might make one because my next investment is the sewing machine, because I have my mom's old sewing machine that I used to sew on when I was a kid, believe it or not. But I want to upgrade. I want a nice sewing machine, so I'm going to invest in a sewing machine for myself so that I can make one. I know. I'm going to make one. I'm going to make one. That's the beauty of your creativity and just doing your thing, right? So, you love sewing? I do too. And I'm back at that. You don't have to be at an age where you do that. You just have to, if you love it, do it. If you love it, be creative. If you love it, make things. It becomes a beautiful thing. People need seamstress, or if you don't have to make everything about money. But what if you could? What if you could earn a living from it? What if you could make things that people want? What if we could you could make some American made things, right? Or I don't know what country you were in, because you never told me. You said you were in the country. Yeah. Eh, and love yourself. Absolutely. Love yourself and everything about yourself. So, anyway, yesterday I took the kids, like I said, I did a day of rest. Today we've already picked some blackberries. I, I, I planted a boatload of more of tomatoes and things the other day, and so I think I might ride out today. Take a little ride out for lunch. Take them maybe to see some things in my area. Um, I know across the river, they have a lot of. They have a little science museum. I might take them over there. Yeah, let them ride out for a little while. After the heat, you know, dies down a little bit because it is very very hot. Um, you know something I noticed, and I'm very concerned about it actually. That in the blackberry patch, I noticed that the bees are getting stuck inside the mesh. That never happened before, and it's really stressing them out, and then they die. You said you have watermelons and berries and oranges and apples. And, oh wow, you got a big orchard going too. I want some more trees. I want a lot of trees. I want a lot of fruit because you could they it just keeps bearing, you know. They just keep bearing. Every year they're gonna come. Your berries are gonna grow, and that's gonna be food. You know, don't cut your collards because they're gonna grow back. I have several in here. They just keep growing back. And so what I've learned now is there are certain things that are just gonna grow and keep growing. And make sure you plant things in your garden that are gonna keep growing back because that's the goal. That's the goal. You don't want to have to keep buying things over and over again. And you want to save seeds, you know? So, I don't know. Might see if I can get the kids to get some of these seeds going for me. I have one calamus, I have one mandarin, but my mandarin, it didn't do well. It got freezer burned. So, I'm going to have to prune it. It's still living at the bottom, but it's going to have to regrow itself because it's not it took a freeze, and I'm not in a zone where we do get a freeze. So, but they said you can grow oranges in my zone. You just have to know how. Like they have to be covered. So, what type of coffee do I have? Um, I don't know. This is coffee my husband actually brought home. He brought home for me. So I don't know what kind it is. All I know is it's really good. I really like tea. I make a lot of tea. Last night I had a beautiful cup of soursop, and it was so good. You know, because I grow all this stuff, so I really love tea. But the coffee does get me going in the morning. So my husband brought me a cup of coffee. I drink a cup of coffee. Mhm. Yeah, I love tea. I have a tea garden. All these herbs I'm looking at right now, and you should see these seeds though, Alma. Look at all these seeds on this. That's sage. I love sage tea as well. You see all those seeds? There's so many seeds. It went to flower, so these are all, but the garden is doing beautiful. It's so robust. So much stuff growing out there. I think I'm going to put in some raised beds next time. Next year, I have a lot of beds, but they're really in ground and, yeah, they're in ground beds. They're not raised. I mean, they're raised one level, but they're still planted in the ground. And I have some bags. I have, of course, my greenhouse where I want to make sure stuff is growing in there. I'm gonna put the keep them away from the pests. I got some beautiful things growing in there: tomato, um, squash, herbs, kale, quite a few things. Quite a few things growing in there, and it's a very hot, hot, hot house. Yeah, it's in the sun. My fave is in my garden is the carrots. Okay. So, do you plant the carrots in the ground or do you plant them in bags? Do you plant your carrots in the ground or do you plant them in bags? You have horses and chickens and sheep, and you got a lot of stuff. You do have a farm. Old McDonald's had a farm. E-I-E-I-O. Do you remember that song? Are you that old? That's the song we sang. Old McDonald's had a farm. E-I-E-I-O. And on his farm he had some, and we had to repeat whatever was on the farm. Oh my, oh my, oh my. It was so funny because we had the bestest of time. There's something really beautiful about the times we had, and the beauty of just being, and not having chasing this and chasing that and chasing the other. Man, um, my dad was a builder, and I've taken on a lot of his traits, in that regard. Like I love to build things as well, but it's hard. It's hard, and I'd rather be a passive benefactor. I'd rather be a passive benefactor. Where can I invest my money so I can rest? You said your dad used to do asphalt, but he retired. I know that's right. I just did something in the chicken run. Did you see what I did in the chicken run, Elma? I concreted the borders of the chicken playground. I call it. Most people call them runs, but mine's is the playground. And in the playground, I had to put some concrete down because, baby, them chickens was trying to dig the fence up. You hear me? I was like, do they know what they about to do? They digging up so the predators can get in. I'm like, what is wrong with these chickens? I literally had to go and put concrete borders. Concrete. Like, that was the last straw for me. I think that wore me out. I think that's what I'm trying to recover from because I was pouring concrete. I was I was pouring concrete the other day, this weekend, because they were digging up the coop. I'm like, if they keep digging, they gonna let the things in. They gonna let the whatever's out there trying to get to them, they gonna let it in. And that's come on, chickens. So At any rate, y'all, it has been, thank you, Alma, for coming and sharing with me. And it's been beautiful talking with you. And yeah, let us remember to get rest, everyone. Let us remember what God says about rest. And if you are here, replay, catch all the scriptures that we talked about, because it is important that we live our life like the blueprint that God created for us. He created an entire blueprint on how this life thing was supposed to go. And man has got people messed up. Man got people doing everything except what God intended, right? And then we find ourselves sick, physically sick, mentally sick, socially sick, emotionally sick, financially sick, because we chasing after things all the time, all the time. And God said, rest. You got 6 days to do a few things. And on that seventh day, here's what I want you to do. I want you to get somewhere and sit down and don't engage in no kind of work. I'm still working on it. I'm still working on it, okay? So y'all go and be blessed and have the most amazing day. And whatever you do, don't let anyone get in the way on your journey to becoming who God has called you to become. Whatever that is for you, that He called you to become, because we are all needed here to do His work. All right. I hope to see you all on the next video.